Good evening. Welcome to the video. My name's Mike. I run TRC coaching out of Stafford, Virginia. So today I'm going to run through kind of what coaches see when an athlete, runner, cyclist, it doesn't matter. What we see when you complete a workout, we can see, kind of a different group of charts. And there's a couple different programs out there. I use Training Peaks. I can analyze your workouts in Training Peaks when you complete. Obviously, when we see you complete a workout, we'll get an email, right? And so there's no rocket science to that. And then if you complete the workout as prescribed, great. We see green. If you don't, we see red, which is like, what the heck happened? And then if you kind of did it, we see like yellow, right? So it's like red, bad, yellow, where something happened, and then green, we did great, we loved the workout, and we finished it. Now I like to use when I see you complete a workout, I'll analyze it. I like to do that in Training Peaks initially. There's other programs, WKO4, WKO5. Those programs automatically bring in data from Training Peaks, and then we can see like it's a ton of charts. Like it's like overwhelming sometimes what you can see. But when you drill down into it, you can see trends. And you can see where maybe we're carrying too much fatigue. In those sorts. So the training stress, and I'm sorry, I'm been under the weather, a little nasally. The training stress, in my case, I like to do non-linear periodization. A lot of people do linear. Then you have like reverse non-linear, where you don't care so much about the base, but you just want to get in there and get it, build as much fitness as possible, and then not so good for endurance. But I like to do the non-linear, where you're kind of not on ever like this gradual slope. You're kind of like in constant adaptation. I feel like I benefit from it. I benefited from it when I was doing endurance running. I never really followed a straight line training per se. Excuse me. But I found that I would do maximum effort for a short period of time, and then I would accumulate that. Whereas, let's say I got my first week, I have 300 TSS planned. The next week, that's gonna increase, maybe go down a lot, and then start higher. And so like, with linear, you get this gradual increase. With non-linear, you're kind of like, what? Oh, wait a minute. Okay. And then it's not really a straight line. And so your body's in a constant state of confusion, which places it in a position where it needs to adapt quickly. And I think you get big gains from that. A lot of people don't like that approach. I like to be not traditional in anything I do. So it's worked pretty well. Excuse me. With another athlete I coach, he had a week of injury. We didn't have a lot of time to prepare him for a gravel race. So let's say we had 4 weeks. And these workouts are tough, man. He had 4 weeks. Really, we were going for 5 weeks. I always start with an FTP test so I can see where I'm starting with somebody. And then, I drop the workouts into his chart. And, Training Peaks based on the FTP will adjust based on the percentages that I've built in the training to your FTP. So, a lot of people, when they see mine, it's like, oh, well, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I have a higher FTP. So my plans are tailored to you, and then you can further tailor them by adjusting the resistance inside of the program's Zwift or when you're on the bike. I mean, you can adjust to your desire, right? So if you're not feeling it one day, drop it from 100% to 90. If you are feeling it, take it up to 110%. See where that goes. Play with it. I'm not so draconian in my training delivery that I have to, if I see, that was my daughter. If I see you, maybe not doing a workout, it's just, all right, so we need to figure out what's going on, right? So I'm watching factors. I do have a background in psychology and other things, and so I'm watching indicators and, in your notes. Are you overtraining? That's a big negative indicator, right? So if you're overtraining, more is not necessarily for the best, right? So you got a race. So going to 2-a-days is only going to break your body down faster. Now, there are some cases where 2 rides a day, are good. But if you're maintaining the same intensity each ride, or increasing intensity, or you're breaking your body down, you're not given a chance to adapt. So there does need to be a certain amount of rest for adaptation to occur, or else your body's just in a constant state of stress, and it's going to start shutting down, i.e. you will start feeling pain, you will tear muscles, you will feel moody, you're gonna have beyond general fatigue. You're gonna be tired all the time. You're gonna be a lot of physiological, neurological. I mean, there's a lot of I mean, you can read about overtraining syndrome. It's a real problem, and you got to watch it. If you think you're doing too much, take a day, reset. Now, when an athlete completes a workout, we're gonna see a chart. Let me see if I can show you here. So that's what we're gonna see, right? See, this gray is what was prescribed. You can kind of see pink here is watts that I put out. I put green up, which is miles per hour as it goes to the watts. And then I put the yellow, which is my cadence. I maintain a pretty high cadence, typically above 100. So you can see those factors, and you can see where here's what I built. And I like to call this pursuit with sprints, i.e. bridging a gap, sprinting past, opening up, and then maybe settling back in these rest periods is what I call sitting in. Well, we all call it sitting in, but sitting in. So I believe in training how you're gonna race a lot of times, so you know what to expect. So here we did the first workout. Okay, everything was going great. Then we did a die off here. We're like, all right, we're still sick, so maybe we shouldn't be pushing this kind of watts. And this was zone 4 to 5 is how I was building these stair steps. Then obviously zone 2, and then zone 4 and 5. And then as you can see here, the watts is below what was prescribed. That's because I adjusted the resistance inside of the program to bring it down to, I think I brought it down to 92%. And so these are, you can see how these intervals are built out. Obviously, these are 4-minute intervals. This was 4-3-3. This was 3-2-2. This was 3-1-1. So you're building, and instead of building where you're coming up and then coming down, I'm building you up higher. Not necessarily watts per se, but in time before you go into the cool down. Now, that's not usual, right? So why would I do that? So when you're in, let's say you're in a criteriums, the first lap is generally like, what is everybody doing? What are we all doing? Who's the big dog? Who's the alpha? Who's going to measure it on the first lap? You really shouldn't. Let's say 45-minute criterium. The first couple laps really are feeling each other out, feeling out the course at speed, kind of seeing who may be chewing at the bit a little bit. And then those middle laps are where you start breaking the group down. Weeding out not necessarily the weakest, but maybe not the fittest for that particular day. And then you kind of open up the gap. And then that's where the kind of the turning the knife and all those sorts of tactics come into play, where you're sprinting, see who comes with you, see who bridges that, and then you kind of start breaking the people down. If you know you're super fit, just go in there, and if you can solo it, then go for it. At the end of the day, you're going to learn something about yourself and your body. Maybe you don't come across that first, but you definitely hurt everybody else, because they're going to try to come, or maybe they're not going to come bridge that. So, but the more matches that you can get people to burn behind you, where if you catch people off guard, and then they have to burn a ton of gas to get back to you, and you're not necessarily burning that amount of gas because you got such a good jump, then you're hurting them later, in the later rounds, right? It's like a boxing match. Every blow weakens your opponent, until you go for that knockout blow, and they cannot respond because they have bonked, or they just don't got it. They're peeling their skin off trying to get at you, and you can't do it. So that's how I built this workout, with that kind of scenario in mind. Every one of them is kind of different. I've built them, based on real life scenarios. So you go up, and then you're done. That's 52 minutes 55 seconds, 75 TSS. I did 19.2 miles with a average, where am I at, with an average heart rate average of 135. My cadence was 98. Average speed was about 22 miles per hour. And all that said and done, the average wattage was 219, and I think my normalized power was 232, which is pretty big gap, which means I was a little bit choppy, but that's to be expected, because I probably shouldn't have rode. But that's my pursuit with sprints workout. Little explanation on kind of what we see, and we can smooth data where it looks a lot better. And so I like to leave it a little choppy so I can see how you were mashing the pedals, and you can you can do a ton of sweet spot training. A lot of people love that. I have a couple of sweet spot workouts where you stay right under that FTP up to 93%. So you're just banging, just slightly bumping up against that FTP, which pushes your fitness up, your average fitness up towards your FTP. But there are a lot of times you're gonna have to go anaerobic to push that VO2 max, which is you have to be in 2 to 3 minutes when you to work that level, and that's a match, and you definitely feel that towards later. So this workout is to help build that endurance while also putting out a pretty good power in zone 4 and then zone 5. So like you're zone 4, and then you're in zone 5 at least in the last set, you're in zone 5 for 4 minutes after you've been in zone 4 for 8 minutes, right? So you've kind of stair-stepped up. And so I think I went 255, 265, and then like 280. So that's just a little explanation. What we do here at TRC Coaching, I say we, but it's just me, and then my little Padawans, and then I look forward to more people reaching out to train in this method. I think you'll get good benefits. I know one of my other guys did, and we did it in a short period of time and increased his FTP in 4 weeks by we say 10, but it was probably more like 15 watts in 4 weeks. We had a week of injury, and then he went into a race. He met his time goal, which was graveler, less than 4 hours, which he did. Nutrition probably was a little not on point prior, so had some bonking. That's my fault. Anytime an athlete bonks during a race, I feel like I haven't done everything I can do to prepare. Like it's more than the training and getting the fitness there. You have to go through the checklist with the rider before they go. What have you eaten the last 3 days? Have you eaten enough carbohydrates? Have you drank enough water? I'm plant-based. He's plant-based. Have you taken enough electrolytes, enough potassium? So those things, when they're lacking, you cramp. So you got to be mindful that you're recovering properly after a ride, that you're fueling properly before ride. During the weekend, I like to do rides fasted to test that fat burning potential part of the long road rides. You want your body to know how to burn fat for fuel. You make yourself a very efficient rider when you do that. And so, there's a lot of things that go into it. As a coach, it goes more than just training and saying great job on your workouts. I want to make sure that you're meeting your racing goals, and to do that, you psychologically, physiologically, and then the nutrition has to be there. And then what are we going to put in the bottles on the bike? I use all Hammer nutrition products. Some people may use First Endurance. There's a lot of products out there, Science and Sport. I've tried them all. And so as a runner, Hammer Nutrition really does a good line of products, especially for a vegan. Vegan Recovery, Vegan Tissue Rejuvenator. These products are great for recovery because you want to get those nutrients in after a ride so you can perform optimally tomorrow. So just a little bit on what I'm doing over here. If you have any questions, go to www.trccoaching.com send me an email. All my contact information is on there, or send me a text at 571-331-4797. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good night.